Okay, so it's it's later the same night that I'm recording this, but yesterday I believe I uploaded the video of me freaking out over having a lot of issues trying to record um, stuff directly from my keyboard into my computer just to get the direct audio. Lots of different ideas, all of them failed. Um, Basically, what happened in the first place was that I essentially have this little converter dealio here from DAC.com that takes your audio stuff from this end, and I plugged this into I have the headphone out, and then I have USB end on the other end, and that's kind of how that works. It just transmits it into basically being like a microphone, a USB microphone on your computer, since you can't just directly connect it. And the audio for that, well, for whatever reason, sounded like this. And the piano sounds okay, I think, but like definitely the drums sound really bad, and I don't know why it did that. I don't remember that being a problem before. I didn't really change settings. I tried to make sure, if anything, there were no weird defaults or something it was trying to place on this to make it weird either. So, um, to give an example of how off that sounds, and it just went through that way. Um, I also did the old-fashioned recording of using my camera with this Rode microphone connected to it, pointed it at the speaker of my keyboard, and that audio sounded like this. So, um, clearly something to do with this thing definitely messed that up somehow, in some way. And, well, I was really sure that it was just, this was the point of the problem, and that's what I had to get rid of, because my Blue Yeti sounded fine, and that was connected via USB. So I was pretty convinced that I just needed a better thing to get audio through, and I probably still do. But the interesting thing is, out of curiosity, I tried using my MacBook and connecting it up through there, and I decided to connect it. Again, I tried to do it directly, it wouldn't take, but I did it with this, and it did register it. Um, and that sounds like this. Which, yeah, it just perfectly captured it. And that kind of throws me, because it must be either an issue with Windows or with some kind of drivers that I have or something, because it's not the USB port. My Blue Yeti works fine. It seems like Audacity works fine, unless it's a communications thing between that and the microphone, or somehow something just messed up with the settings. It has to be some weird thing somewhere, because this was also connected with this thing. I just had this thing to get a USB-C end on it, so there's an extra point of failure for this to go through, and it still worked crystal clear in the MacBook. So the cool thing means that now I have GarageBand to play around with if I need to get the audio onto there, and I could probably do all of this stuff in there and do other things to tweak stuff in there. Or if I still want to just use familiar old Audacity, I can always just go into GarageBand, put my recordings in there, and then I can just export them as WAV files and then put them into Audacity that way. So I now have options, and that's pretty cool. So hopefully you enjoyed this little sneak peek of an upcoming song whenever the album is eventually done. And yeah, any other like easy, simple recording tips or whatever for someone like me who doesn't want to spend a huge budget on something he's not very good at, um, you know, uh, definitely leave that in the comments if you'd like, or if you understand what the issue was. The only thing I can imagine is somehow the audio enhancements feature of Windows turned back on, somehow, even though it said it was off. or there was like driver problems. That's about all I can think of, but I don't know for sure because again, it had to be like a Windows driver, not like a general like this thing driver because I just plugged this in and used it and it worked fine. So, anyways, that's my little follow up video. Hopefully, it was interesting, and it was it's less angry and definitely less quiet. Um, and hopefully the album gets done someday before I die, as opposed to it would be weird if it got done after I died. So we'll shoot for before.